And after the war is over, you rebuilt Germany and you rebuilt Japan. And the black man is here in America, not living in a decent house, without a job, his children destroyed. Figure it out. You gotta be sober to see the tricks that's going down to rob you of your future, black man and woman.
What if the fall of white America isn't coming because it's already here? What if the empire that once ruled the world through deception, domination, and dollars is now devouring itself, slowly, quietly, predictably? That's the heart of Farrakhan's warning. Black people, this is not our fight. He's not preaching escape. He's preaching awareness and a kind of divine distance. He's saying, don't pick up a sword that was never forged for you. Don't fight for a system that never fought for you, because when you join your oppressor's war, you inherit his curse. In this speech, Farrakhan stands like a prophet among ruins. His voice is steady, but his message burns.
We fought in Vietnam and in Korea. Figure it out. What is Martin Luther King's life worth to us? Figure it out. What are our leaders' lives and black organizations destroyed by government policy? Figure it out. And when you lay down what you owe us the whole damn country, and we're not asking for that. For that. All we're asking is for justice. And that's the time. If you don't give us justice, you may lose it all. So black students, you get busy. And you stop all this partying and foolishness. And you get your act together. As of tonight, you put down that reefer, and you put down that crack, and those pills and that drugs, and get your head screwed on right. You cannot live today with a half-high head. You gotta be sober to see the tricks that's going down to rob you of your future, black man and woman. Don't come to Illinois State trying to make a white university relevant to black people. That's wasting valuable time. Come here and extract the knowledge and then go back and use it to build your community, build your people, build for yourself. Don't you come out of here looking for a job. Come out with a mind to try and create a job. Do you hear me, brothers and sisters? Stop all this talk about I am an alpha, I am an omega, I am a kappa, I am a sigma, I am a delta, I am an AKA. What is that but more Greek letters? Jesus said, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. Come together. Stop all this talk. Stop all this talk about I'm a Baptist, I'm a Methodist, I'm an Episcopalian, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, I'm a Church of God in Christ, I'm holiness, I'm Pentecostal. Stop that kind of talk. Jesus never spoke like that. Speak as he spoke. He was baptized, but he wasn't a Baptist. Talk to me. He never said he was a Methodist. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He never said, I'm a Catholic. He said, I am the light of the world, meaning I'm universal. He never said, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, but it's a fact he was the witness of Jehovah. No question about it. He never said, I'm holy. He said, if the first fruit is holy, then the lump is also holy. He never said, I'm Pentecostal, but without Jesus appearing before the disciples, there wouldn't be any day of Pentecost. These are your denominations. These are your divisions. Prophet Muhammad never said he was Sunni. He gave us the Sunnah. He never said he was Shiite, but through his daughter Fatima, he had Hussein and Hassan. Huh? Come on. He never said he was Hanafi, Sufi.
White America, not white people as individuals, but the structure, the empire, the illusion, is falling under the weight of its own lies. And he warns us, the descendants of the enslaved, not to get caught in the debris, not to mistake their collapse for our crisis, not to rush to fix the house that was never built for us to live in when he says this is not our fight, it's not indifference, it's discernment. Because too often we become casualties in wars that had nothing to do with our freedom. We march when they're scared, we protest when they panic, we defend the democracy that never defended us. Let's be real. Farrakhan isn't saying sit still, he's saying wake up. He's saying that every empire dies the same way, and from arrogance, decay, and moral rot, they expand until they choke on their own ambition. They lie until truth becomes radioactive. They build walls so high that they forget even walls fall. And in that moment, he tells Black America, don't let their crisis become your chaos because the empire will always call for soldiers. And if you're not careful, you'll volunteer to fight for your own confinement. Think about it. Every major collapse in history, Rome, Britain, Babylon, came with a moral warning before the military defeat. When justice collapses, when truth is commodified, when greed becomes law, collapse isn't a question of if. It's a question of when. Farrakhan says America is unraveling. And whether you love or hate him, look around. Can you really argue with that? You've got political factions tearing each other apart, billionaires hoarding billions while people sleep under bridges, a justice system that punishes survival and rewards corruption. You've got violence turned entertainment, truth turned marketing, morality turned meme. He says the fall is inevitable because the foundation was never righteous, and that's a hard truth because we were told that America was chosen, blessed, a city on a hill. But you can't build heaven on stolen land. You can't claim liberty while holding men in chains. You can't preach Christ while practicing Caesar. And so the fall he describes isn't a punishment, it's a correction. It's what happens when lies mature. It's what happens when karma clocks in. And he's telling Black people, don't get in the way of divine math.
That's your stuff. Be what he was. He was a Muslim. He submitted his will to do the will of God. Be what Jesus was. Jesus never said, I'm a Christian. Not one time. He never called his disciples Christians. Did you know that? They were called Christians at Antioch by the enemies of Jesus. Jesus said, not my will, but thy will be done. He submitted his will to do the will of God. Come on. So let us do that. Stop all this division and let's come together as a family and love each other and respect each other and work for the good of each other, uphold each other in right, and above all, respect and protect and honor your women. Respect, protect, and honor your women. And to the white students, if you will sit down with these Black students in an honest dialogue, without hypocrisy, maybe tomorrow you might make better sense than tonight. Maybe after hearing what Farrakhan had to say, it didn't necessarily drive you further apart, you already apart. Maybe it gave you something, a basis upon which to start and honest dialogue. And through dialogue, maybe you might learn to respect each other. And as I said on the Donahue show, white students, think about it. You didn't come in a vacuum. You study biology. And you learn Mendel's law. You know that dark skin is dominant and light skin is recessive. No, this ain't no black supremacy. Just that the truth is supreme. You know that dark eyes are dominant and light eyes are recessive. And you teach that you can get the recessive from the dominant. But you can't get the dominant from the recessive. So two white people can only produce white. You can never produce yellow. It's just not in your genetic makeup to do that. It's a biological, mathematical impossibility. But the black man can produce from jet black people an albino with blonde hair and light eyes, showing you that in us is the whole human family of the earth. And from the black man, whom the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called the original people of the earth. That's why you're black. You're not black because you're cursed. You're black because you are the original life in the universe. Yes. Yes. You say, I can't believe it. And I thought I was black and ugly. No, no. You are black and beautiful because you are original. Just be yourself. Don't try to be white people. Be you. Fall in love with you. Jesus said, love your neighbor as who? Yourself. So you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. So fall in love with yourself, then maybe you'll be able to love your neighbor. And since you don't live in nobody else's neighborhood, I guess your neighbor looks just like yourself. And they got a job for you. Wrong thought. Wrong thought. As factories in America close down and move to Mexico and other places where labor is cheap, black folk more and more out of work. If you think that white folk are going to prepare jobs for you, you got another thought coming. You are here at Illinois State to learn that which will allow you to create a job for yourself. And if you don't do that, then your learning has been in vain. Do you hear me? Just like the basketball team, maybe one or two of those black stars will make the NBA. The rest of them, if they don't have anything up here, after they graduate, that's it, brother. You played beautifully when you were here, but when we can't use you no more, that's the end of that. And to the white students, the world is changing so fast. You cannot face the world that is coming in with the mind of white supremacy. That mind will render you incapable of handling what you're about to see. what you are seeing signs of heavily now. You got a few more minutes? Here is a verse of the Quran. This is a very magnificent book that is not on bookshelves in America, but it's powerful. Listen. In a chapter called Al-Asr, meaning the time, Muslims pray 5 times a day. But there is a prayer that we pray that is called Salatul Asr. And the Asr prayer comes when the sun has fallen away from its zenith and is like midpoint between the zenith and its setting. We measure time by the Earth's rotation on its axis and its revolution around the sun. So the Earth could not rotate on her axis without the light of the sun, nor could she revolve around the sun without the light of the sun. So it is our relationship to the sun that gives us our days and our years. So this chapter is called The Time. The Time. And if you don't have your watch, if you know the sun and the relationship of the earth, you can look at the sun and tell the time. You can look at the shadows even and tell the time by the shadow. Listen now. So Allah says in the Quran, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the time surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good and enjoin one another to truth and enjoin on one another patience. Very pregnant. I'd like to deliver a few babies here. By the time, the word or the preposition by means that the time is the criterion by which actions are judged. Listen. By the time, surely man is in loss. Why is man losing? His actions are not corresponding with the dictates of the time. When you are out of time, have you ever tried to plant out of time? Nothing happens. Have you ever tried to harvest out of time? Nothing happens. When you go to the disco, if the music is beat, what is that? Time. And your dance gotta be what? Right in accord with the time. But if you don't know how to dance, you can't keep that time, and people don't want to dance with you because you're not keeping time. Have you ever been in a band and the drummer who is keeping the time can't keep that time? He speeds it up, then he slows it down. No musician can play with a drummer that doesn't keep time. Everything is done by time. The whole human body is based on rhythm. So when you sing the song, I got rhythm, I got rhythm, what you talking about? You think that means a Negro that got a lot of rhythm. has to keep. When it speeds up or slows down, this is a worry for a doctor, the vital sign. Rhythm, pulse, beat, blood pressure, rhythm, timing. Everything is on time. But when you get out of sync, out of time, things don't go well for you. When the body is not working rhythmically right, the organs begin to work at odds, and it creates dis-ease or disease. Time. What time is it? Not by this watch. What time is it? By the universal clock. Each prophet that came into the world marked time. And if you can't read the prophets, you can't read the clock. And if you don't know the time, then you don't know what you should be doing. And if you don't know what to do and you don't know the time, then you're about to lose not only what you have, but you can lose your life because you're not on time. Now this, y'all all right? Please follow me now. The sun, when it reaches its zenith, you watch, the shadow is very short. When the sun rises in the east and strikes an object, the shadow is long in the west. But when that sun reaches the zenith, the shadow has drawn up from the west back to the object. And as the sun starts setting, the shadow starts going back toward the east. A lot of wisdom in that. When that sun is setting, it's like saying that a world's time is coming to an end. And if you notice, when the sun sets, it sets in the west. And if you watch one of these beautiful sunsets, the sky looks like it's on fire. And this is what God threatens the world with at the end. It is total fire. The Western world has exercised power over all the darker people of the earth. You agree? Yes, sir. Yeah. The light shined in the east, and the shadow on the Western powers gave a long shadow in the west, meaning the Western world or white world began an ascendancy to power. But it's Asr now. It's afternoon. The sun is setting on white world supremacy. Listen, just listen. Don't get emotional. Just listen. That kind of apartheid, I'm better because I'm white, that don't work anymore. It's being challenged by the rising sun. Go ahead. The sun rose in the east again. The Japanese, you beat them in war, but now they're beating you in economy, in technology, in mathematics, in banking. Their society is much further advanced than this one. America is being a loser. She's decaying. Not because somebody is more powerful on the outside, but there is a rot and a decadence going on inside America that is bringing this nation down. I'm appealing to you, black and white, Jew and Gentile. We all live in America, but America cannot continue to exist as she is. Listen, the sun is now setting on Western world.
Now, some people hear prophecy and tune out. They think it's superstition, mysticism, or paranoia. But Farrakhan's prophecy has always been political, historical, and sociological. He's not predicting the end of the world. He's diagnosing the end of delusion. He's standing in the same prophetic stream as Nat Turner, Malcolm X, Garvey, and Fannie Lou Hamer. All of them warned of moral collapse before physical collapse. And if you trace history, it lines up. Every time a system refuses reform, revolution becomes its undertaker. Every time people ignore justice, justice finds another way to speak. So when Farrakhan says white America will fall, he's not calling for violence. He's calling for recognition. He's saying the time of blind obedience is over. The mask is off. The empire is cracking. And if you're still trying to fix it, you'll end up buried in it. So what's the black position in all this? That's the uncomfortable question. For generations, we've been told that our progress is tied to America's success, that if the country prospers, so will we. But history laughs at that illusion. Every economic boom for them meant exploitation for us. Every political unification came at the cost of our silence. We've been the moral compass and the disposable workforce, simultaneously celebrated and scapegoated. Farrakhan flips that logic. He says, step back, observe, build your own. Because when the empire collapses, only those with internal structure survive. He's not telling you to hate white America. He's telling you to stop depending on her oxygen. He's saying, breathe your own air, build your own house, define your own future. This is why so many misunderstand him. They hear not our fight as apathy. It's not. It's clarity. A refusal to die for someone else's illusion. Let's talk evidence. You see it in the streets, the politics, the psychology. The nation is addicted to outrage, high on division, bankrupt on empathy. Power has no moral center anymore. It's just noise, spectacle, and survival. And Farrakhan, love him or hate him, has been warning about this for half a century. He said America would implode, not because of foreign enemies, but because of internal deceit. And here we are. Families fractured, truth optional, leadership absent. It's not prophecy anymore, it's documentary. But here's where it turns back to us. Farrakhan says it's not our fight, but that doesn't mean it's not our moment. We can't just watch the empire burn and call that freedom. If the old world collapses, what do we build in its place? Do we have our own institutions, our own schools, our own economy, our own digital territory, our own media, our own moral compass? Because if not, the fall of one master just makes room for another. And that's the danger. Revolutions don't automatically produce liberation, they produce vacancies, and whoever is most prepared fills the vacuum. So when he says not our fight, he's also saying, prepare your ground. Don't get seduced by the noise of collapse. Build while they crumble, create while they consume, heal while they self-destruct. Sometimes I listen to Farrakhan and it feels like he's talking through time, not just to us, but to our children's children. He's saying, every empire that enslaved others eventually turns its chains inward. You can't live off oppression forever. The bill always comes. So what happens after the fall? That's the question we have to wrestle with, because a fall without rebirth is just tragedy. But a fall followed by reconstruction, that's transformation. And maybe that's why this message matters, because it doesn't just expose the sickness of a nation, it reveals the responsibility of a people. We have to do more than survive collapse. We have to build civilization beyond it. When Rome fell, others inherited its ruins. When America falls, who will inherit its spirit? If we're wise, if we're ready, if we're united, maybe it's time for a new kind of power, a moral power, a collective power born from struggle, faith, and clarity. At the end of the day, this is not our fight doesn't mean indifference, and it means intelligence. It means learning the difference between battles and distractions. It means refusing to spend your blood where your value was never recognized. And it means seeing the storm not as destruction, but as cleansing. We are witnessing correction disguised as chaos. And if you listen closely, you'll hear what Farrakhan's really saying beneath the thunder. Prepare yourselves. Clean your house. Align your spirit. Because what's collapsing isn't just America. It's illusion. Every empire tells itself it's eternal. Every oppressor believes the sun will never set on his privilege. But history doesn't lie. Only people do. And the same hands that built the pyramids, the same ancestors who survived the Middle Passage, the same lineage that turned pain into rhythm, those hands will build again. So when Farrakhan says, "This is not our fight," understand he's not telling you to run. He's telling you to rise. I'm Mr. Black, and this is Black News 360. Every angle, every voice, every truth.